Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome back to PSVG's Nintendo Shack. My name is Donnie Reese, and I'm joined by my Clubhouse co-host, Garrett in the Forest Minish herself, Rebecca. How are you guys? Doing good?
You scarred me for life, Donnie. Why did you show me that song?
It's going to be playing in our heads all night.
Oh, man. Acapella voices with the Donkey Kong Country theme song from a random... What was Super Smash Brothers? No.
Super Smash Brothers. Donkey Kong Country vocals track from Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Koopalings. Go out there and listen to it.
Should
never
illegal.
have.
Yes.
Sweet guitar, though. Sweet guitar. Tonight, we're going to record episode 142 titled Bait and Switch. But before we get into all of that, let us thank those that keep the boat afloat over at patreon.com/PSVG. So thank you, Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Borbone, Chris Macklefresh, Devin Tice, Kyle Heyman, Paul Calico, Michael Masick, The Egg Shin, Zach Bradshaw, and Nick Fallhaber. Now, I have some games to talk about.
Okay.
I want to talk to you guys about Fun Time. I want to talk to you about Deadly Premonition 2. Maybe even Catherine. So it could take a while. So would you prefer I go first or last?
I don't know. I have a lot to talk about too.
Oh
I
boy.
got a lot to talk about.
We're not going to get to any of the news. All right. Let's start with hashtag Fun Time. I got a review copy of this on Xbox. I've been playing it for a little over a week now. It's fantastic. If you ever liked arcadey twin stick shooters, if you like Resogun, if you like all of that good stuff, Geometry Wars, this is that. This is Geometry Wars. I made a little play on words earlier. Geometry Wars Evolved was actually the game that came out. It was the title of the game. This is Geometry Wars Evolved. It takes that same formula that you know and love, but it literally just raises the bar. It has all kinds of different modes, all kinds of different, strategies and gimmicks and mechanics that are at play that really change the game. Have you guys played Geometry Wars?
Nope.
I think a little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
This hurts. You guys are hurting my feelings right now. Are you
I played
crazy?
Resogun to an extent.
I freaking love this game. Geometry Wars was amazing. All right. So, you guys saw my GIFs though, right? You saw GIFs and videos of it? All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's top down twin stick shooter arcade game. It's got all the neon colors, all the little space, type themes. Got the crazy techno bumps. You get all the right? You get into that mode, right? Except this game goes far crazier with it than I think Geometry Wars ever did. Not only do you shoot with the twin stick and you get upgraded guns, right? You get better ships, you get better things. Mm-hmm. You get to a point where you can leave a color trail, like your wake, as you zoom around. And then there are enemies that enter the stage that also have colors. And if you can make your enemy cross over your wake that's the same color, they will explode. So in addition to shooting them, you can kind of plan for that. But then you have to change colors on the fly. And then they enter like these lasers that you can pass through if you're the same color as the laser. So it all kind of mixes into the swirl of this frantic twin stick shooter that you're constantly changing colors in, that the enemies are constantly changing colors in, that you're also trying to line up wakes and everything as you shoot forward. And it's just amazing. It
sounds like a big mix of strategy and skill.
I mean, I've never
be
considered myself good at these types of games. I definitely know people that are better. I think Jason Lacey will overtake me on leaderboards very quickly. But I love playing them. I really love playing them. There's also, there's a challenge mode, which is like an extended tutorial. I think there's, I don't know, I didn't count them, 15, 20 levels or something like that you get grades on. You can 3-star, 2-star, 1-star them. They have different capabilities. Some of these levels have mazes that kind of remind me of Subspace Emissary. Kind of. Like in a twin stick world, right? Where you get dropped in this and you've got to get to the finish as fast as you can. That's how you're graded.
Okay, yeah.
But in your way are enemies, are gates, are puzzles that test you to do all of the moves. You even get a boost mechanic. You've got to boost through stuff. So they've got that on there, which Geometry Wars never had anything like that, right? So you've got that. the thing that has grabbed me most that I'm almost ashamed to admit, because it goes against kind of everything that I've ever said about myself and my own gaming taste, is it has like a survivor mode. And it's a grind mode, and I've been addicted to it ever since I started playing. So you start with nothing. No lives, no guns, no bombs, no nothing. You go as far as you can. You die eventually. You then earn points for your death. You then buy more stuff. You then go back in, you start over, and you do it all over again. And you keep doing it, and you keep doing it until you get better and better, and you just keep going as far as you can. I dropped like 5 hours into it on Xbox just one day, just kept playing the same thing over and over and over again. I was like, I can do better. I can do better.
It sounds like it's addicting. Like you just want to try it one more time.
Yes.
Try it one more time. Like,
Yes.
I got enough. I'm going to be able to get through it this time.
The moment that I saw it, when we talked about July's releases and I saw this hashtag fun time, the moment I saw a screenshot, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to play that game. And then the moment I got it, I was like, oh yeah, it's everything I could have wanted it to be.
So this is a roguelite.
I mean, that's just one mode. There's a bunch of modes in there. There's a mode where the map is like super big. So you don't, so a lot of times the map just fits the screen, right? The boundaries of the map is your screen. But then there's a mode where it's bigger and you can go off screen. You can screen over to the next screen and there's all kinds of crazy stuff happening. So that's what I meant by it's Geometry Wars evolved because it took this thing that we knew and it just threw a bunch of stuff on top of it. And they really kind of serve it up to you to kind of enjoy it however you want. They don't force you to play either which way. If you got to go through the campaign, if you want to and get all the 3 stars, it's going to be challenging to get all the 3 stars. You will have to do a little bit of everything, but it's just a little bit of everything. And then when you get into the arcade modes, they're all unlocked. You can just kind of go whichever way you want. There's survivor mode. There's big map survivor mode. Like they really cut it up into a bunch of little pieces. It's like, do whatever you want. And there's a leaderboard for everyone.
Does it feel really cluttered at all? Like frantic? Or do you...
In the good way.
Like,
in a good way.
There was a lot going on.
Oh, there are times where so much stuff's happened, and then I see my ship kind of come out of it, and I'm like, I don't even know I did that. That was pretty good, Donnie. You did a pretty good job. It was lucky, or you were really good. That was really good. One of those two things happened. It's quite good.
So the enemy, is there like different types of enemies?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like
so at
many
first they
kinds.
start off with like little Galaga blocks that like float around, and then you've got the ones that come in with different colors that chase you. Then you've got like big dudes that pop up that actually shoot at you while they chase you. Then you've got like black hole, like colorful rainbow swirls that start swirling that you can't get in the swirl. You get lasers that come across the screen that you've got to zip out of. Yes, all of that. There are also like little Microsoft green Excel symbols that are like power-ups. You're not power-ups. What do you call it? Your multiplier. So you can grab those as quick as you can and get double points. So you're doing in the survivor mode, you want to get as many of those as you can. And you get them all the time as you like kill them, as you kill out the enemies. So at any time, there might be 6 or 7 of them across the screen. There are meteors that fly in just off the map. Like this comet comes and explodes at you. You got to move out of the way of it. And yeah, it's all kind of going on at once. And it's just kind of like this neon disco, colorful
pop to it. Yeah.
Barrage of things happening in front of your eyes. It's all right. I don't have to go too deep into it. Here's ultimately, I think, the best review I can give it. I was given a code for this to play for free on Xbox, which I did for a week. And then it released today on Switch. I happily bought another copy for myself.
Oh, wow.
Happily. I was
It
happy
sounds like
to buy
a game
it.
you would want to have portably. Like a Switch seems like the perfect fit for that kind of game.
I told my son, I was like, hey, I bought this on Switch if you want to get it. And he goes, yeah, I don't know if I want to play that. I go, what do you mean you don't want to play it? He goes, it's just kind of one of those games that you waste time on. And I said, isn't that what Fortnite is?
I think you could make that argument for any game,
Right.
but then
Pretty
again,
much
that's
any
like
game,
any
yeah.
hobby. As long
But
as
I
you're
told
having
him,
fun, it's not a waste
I was
of
like,
time.
isn't that what Fortnite was? And he like snapped this look. And I was like, you're doing the same thing over and over and over in that game. It's the same thing. What are you talking about here, kid? And he was like, I guess.
And just leaves.
I think the screen, I think it was a little bit too much for him to take in, which is funny because he played Hyperscape and he had no problems with it. But this is a long-standing like Shaq thing between me and Jason. Jason and I love good twin-stick shooter. And I'll throw Kyle in here too. Kyle loves a good twin-stick shooter. And anybody out there, console, Switch, I don't care where you play it. If you get a chance to play hashtag fun time, I think you should, because it's really
How much is it?
at what it does. It's really, really good. I think it's 15, but there's a discount on it right now. I think it's like $11.50 right now.
Sounds like a good price for it.
And because I bought, you remember I was telling you I bought Dragon Quest Builders, and then I got Catherine, and then like Deadly Premonition. I had like $2 worth of coins, so that $11.25 was like $9.50, and I was like, happily, I will happily pay $9.50 for a copy of this on Switch.
Nice.
But now here's the problem. Do I grind it out on Switch and get caught up to where I was on Xbox? Because I had a lot of time set in on Xbox.
There's no cross progression or anything, I assume.
No. Also, and I'm glad I just said this and thought of this, because I haven't prepared anything for this review. The Joy-Cons leave a little bit to be desired. That's pretty sure. Like, and you guys know me, I'm kind of a Joy-Con apologist, but the moment I picked it up and I started playing on Joy-Con, I just didn't feel like I was shooting as accurately as I was on Xbox.
Right.
I could see where I would shoot and I would miss left and right. I'm like, what is going on? It just didn't have like that finer precision aiming, like you try to go right and you go too far right. You try to go too far left. I did notice that quickly. So, get a clip, play with a Pro Controller if you can. It's still perfectly, I played it just fine on Switch. I got used to it. I made up with it, but having played it for a week on Xbox, I did pick it up and kind of notice that pretty quickly. But also, I haven't updated my Joy-Cons in a while, and I know they just released a new update and stuff like that. So maybe that could be on me as well. Probably not, but
doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too. But just throwing that out there before anybody goes, no, I don't want it. Get it. Get the game.
Is the D-pad any better, or can you move with that at all?
I think you can.
D-pad?
I'm not sure. And the reason I'm not sure is I've been playing a lot of Catherine too, so I might just bring Catherine. I'm not sure. So let me segue into Catherine Full Body, which I got last week, and the game is fantastic. I didn't realize as much work had went into this as there was. I mean, that's on me for not following it a whole lot. I played Catherine on 360. I own Catherine on 360. It's on my Xbox One. It's backwards compatible. I can play it. I have played it recently. So I was never like, I'm going to get Full Body for $60, right? I think that's what I've said about it the whole time. It's like, I already have that game. And to be honest with you, I think a part of me was just kind of judging the Switch by its cover, like thinking like it's just going to look like the 360 version. It doesn't. It looks like the PlayStation 4 version. The moment that I got it and I started playing, I felt really impressed with the visuals. So I went and looked up a comparison. It's pretty spot on. Like there was really no difference here. There might be just a faint touch of brightness more on the PlayStation side, but the Switch version looks just like it. It doesn't appear that anything is locked out of it. And they overhauled everything. The menus, the modes, the story. I knew that there was another character. I just thought it'd be like New Game Plus character. No, it's from the original. They've redone the whole thing. It's a whole new, I don't know, like a whole new experience, but it's a different experience. Which I love, because if you guys haven't played Catherine, it's quite good too. Now I shared some clips over on the Shack Life Twitter. Some of them were flagged. It's a mature game.
It's a very mature game.
Yeah, it's a mature game, so it's not for kids and stuff like
from
that.
The screenshots.
And if you don't like puzzles, you're probably going to like it either. But there is something exhilarating with Catherine's flair of puzzle design in the sense that I always feel like you've played Catherine, right, Garrett?
I haven't played it, actually.
Oh, wow.
That's the one game I want to go to.
I want to ask somebody that has played it, because I think they would support this when I say it. I feel like it trains my brain. Like, it's one of those games that when I play it, I'm just like, I felt dumb when I first started. I'm like, I've done this before.
I think a lot of people feel that way. Yeah.
As you play it, you start to see the cubes that aren't there, right? And that's the whole thing, is you're making these cubes, I don't know, like kind of like Hubert, where you're trying to climb the tower by pulling
you're pulling blocks and pulling them in, and there's enemies. And
so if you're doing the block puzzle, that's kind of what the whole thing is. And then you get these extended cutscenes that are between. Garrett has got Persona music in the jukebox. You can jam out Persona 5.
And that's pretty good.
They're all the DLCs included. So I don't think it was on the PlayStation version. I think it was like $25. I think it is on the Switch version. Wow. So you get like these goggles that show everybody in their underwear if you want. Cool. It's all there. You can do all of it. You can hit the bar. Awesome. You can have drinks. You can do all the stories. I'm going for the Catherine with a C true ending, where she ends up as a succubus and you're in hell with her dad. That's the one I'm going for.
I've heard about that one.
The one that I finished the first time was the original Catherine with a K, and she left me. So I think I got the Catherine with a K's bad ending the first time. Rebecca, there are 3 Catherines. I think every one of them have 4 or 5 different endings. There's a lot of different endings. You can play this game a bunch of different ways.
It was just one game. Like, I didn't realize there was more than one game. I thought people were just referring to it as like different things. I don't know.
No,
I don't know anything about this.
It's so oh man, you're Vincent, and you cheat on your girlfriend after like a one night stand at the bar, and then you're haunted in your dreams by her that you have to escape. If you don't escape, you'll die. And there are all these rumors going around that this is the wrath of a girlfriend, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's a real thing, not like in your dream. Like when you're out in the real world, there are people talking about it. Like, have you heard about this?
That's weird.
There are women killing their boyfriends in their dreams. Yeah. And then you meet another Catherine. So there's 3 Catherines, and you have all these moral decisions that you have to make along the way. Like, do you think marriage is the beginning of life or the end of your life? And based on how you pick, it judges your morality, which steers you in the direction of the ending that you get to go to.
I would like the decision-making morality aspect of it, but I don't think I like the premise of the game.
My wife liked it too until the cutscene started, and she was like, what the hell is this?
I could see that.
She's like, Donnie, is this like porn? I was like, no.
It's getting there.
Kinda, this close.
Or like getting there.
It's fantastic on Switch. I think it's a lot to ask for a game as old as it is, but I do think with the new content and the upgrades, it's worth its price. Although I would encourage people to wait personally. I mean, just because unless you've never played it before, if you've never played for it, go for it, go have a blast. But if you're somebody like me that has played it and have it somewhere else, maybe wait on it. Remember, I got this from Dragon Quest Builders 2 trade-in plus the trade-in promotion. So I basically got it for like half off. I'm in it for like $30. Nice. I feel a little bit better about that than 60.
Yeah, I need to get it a little bit cheaper before I dive into that. But did you know the Catherine Full Body is also the Persona 5 engine? Mm-hmm. That's the same engine, and you say they rehauled everything in this game.
All the menus look the same.
Well, I don't care about the menus.
Well, I mean, I'm just telling you, it's working
on the Switch.
It's not coming, Garrett. It's not coming
because Persona 5 is coming to the Switch. Come on,
it is. In Warriors form, in Strikers form, we are getting Persona 5. And you and I will have a very long podcast where we chat about how great Persona 5 Strikers is, because it's going to be better.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be so good. Which brings me to the last game that I've been playing, Deadly Premonition 2.
I want to hear about this.
What do you want to hear about it, Rebecca?
I want to hear everything about it.
Well, it sucks. That's pretty much everything about it. It's bad. I shared my earliest experiences. There are moments where there are things happening in dialogue, but nothing on the screen is moving. As for example, in the first cutscene of the game, there was somebody who was supposed to reach into his briefcase and pull out some files and present them to everybody. Yeah. And you just see him like stuck in his briefcase for a minute. And then the dialogue just kind of snaps back. The character moves like a tank, like Resident Evil 2, like you turn and go forward, turn and go back. It's just, I mean, it's framey. It's like it is everything that it says it is.
The bugginess, because we already know about the bugginess.
The only thing that I would attribute to bugginess is maybe the load times. I have not encountered a crash. I have not encountered anything that didn't work like it was supposed to. I have reached a load time that I want to say, if I had recorded it, was at least 3 minutes long. And I've heard that there are load screens that like freeze while it's trying to load. So it's possible that it went into load, it froze for a moment, came back and finally, but it takes a long time. You just sit there and it's not like there's nothing happening on the screen. It's just black. So it makes you think like your Switch is broke or something. Like you hit the home button, you're like, is it working? And then you come back. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I put 5 hours in. It was a hard 5 hours to get through. And the moment all of the news started breaking, so Swery released an update. You know, all of the transphobic things that have come out and the dead naming and everything. He was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was going to be that offensive, like Earth to Swery. It's 2020 now. And they said they're going to rewrite it. They've also released apologies saying, like, we're going to fix this. Like, the game is a buggy mess. We're going to fix it. So
Did I not know that before it released though? Like,
you have to hope.
They knew that.
Yeah,
I honestly think a lot of it is like the marketing. Like, we're talking about it now because of that, and then they're gonna fix it, and then it'll.
So once all the news came out that they're gonna fix it, I gotta tell you, my urge to play just kind of plummeted. I was like, I'll just wait for the fix, because if I'm gonna keep playing it like this, I'm gonna quit because I don't like it. And I wasn't necessarily liking what I was playing earlier anyway. You first open up the game when you get like the skateboard and everything, and you meet the chef and you kind of skate across town. It was really, really hard to get through, because of like the lagginess. Like, so like, all right. So in the first scene, you open up and you're being interviewed by these detectives. You have to look around the room and kind of scan for clues. So I went to like turn left, and it just kind of like shuddered in stages to the left. And then I clicked right on the D-pad to move over to the right thing. And it took like a couple seconds to highlight. I was just like, what is this? Is this Clock Tower from 1994 or something? Like,
it just sounds like it would be a pain to play. Like,
exactly. You're just like, why am I doing this? It's awful. And so, I mean, all the reviews I would say are right. Now, I don't know if the story is good because I haven't played it that long. Again, after all these updates come out, I'm just going to put it on a shelf and wait. Because if I keep doing this, I feel like I'm never going to get there to begin with. Like, if I could have returned it, I would have. Bye, Catherine. Catherine's so much better. It's so much better. But hashtag fun time. It's so much better. Get Paper Mario. It's going to be so much better than this. I understand that certain people might have an affinity for something that's so bad. Like, they may even want something like that out of the norm. This is kind of irresponsible to release something like this in 2020 at this state. Like, this is kind of, it's just bad. I mean, it's
unacceptable.
Yeah, it's just unacceptably bad. It's like, look, you can make a good game be bad without doing this. This isn't what you had to do to get your point across, right? Like, you could have just chopped the resolution or something, but still have locked 30. I haven't read the Digital Foundry. I haven't seen the Digital Foundry recap, but I did see some tweets about it. At times they were recording frames, FPS dropping to 2 and 4, which is kind of what I was seeing. Exactly. You're like, what? That's kind of where we are at this state in this game. And I don't know if it was a rush. I don't know if I want to know, like, was he overseeing it, or did he just kind of write it and hand it off to somebody to go out and make it? But it's not good. It also, and this might be a little harsh and a little unfair because I've only played it portably. It doesn't look great, like in portable, like just at and that's not just a resolution thing. I'm talking about the style and everything, like what they were going for. It has this Telltale-ish kind of look to it, but it's like super edgy and jagged, it's like old, it's just really jagged lines and everything. Exactly. And
PS2 one that doesn't perform well.
All of that stuff that you take into account of that. So like when people are talking, like, like the teeth in the mouth, like, it's all bad. It's just, there's not a whole lot of good things to say about it, which is a shame because
that is a shame.
I could imagine if it was 720p and it was running 30 frames per second and it had some anti-aliasing and there was some more time spent on it, like maybe there's something here or there. But in its current state, it's just hard to recommend. It's really, really hard to recommend to anybody, even somebody. I really liked the first game and there's a reason I pre-ordered it. I've been looking forward to it for a few months and this one bit me. I got burned. So maybe don't pre-order things so fast. I guess that's the only thing to take away. Like if you're pre-ordering something, be sure what you're pre-ordering.
Yeah. Well, it was so much worse than the first one too, right?
That's the thing. It's like the last one wasn't this bad. The last one was bad. It wasn't this bad. This is a whole new level of bad. The last one was like, well, it's a PS2 game. I'm going to cut it some slack. It's okay. Right. It runs. It's playable.
It's playable. That's the thing.
This one is not playable.
No.
Right.
This passes the Garrett line of playable. This is unplayable. So
pretty much.
Sorry.
Nope.
Deadly Premonition 2 fans.
Mm-hmm.
But hashtag fun time's amazing. Rebecca, what have you been playing?
I've been doing a whole mix of things. I got my Super Nintendo Classic this week. Donnie, you convinced me to get the refurbished one that Nintendo was selling. I did own a Super Nintendo Classic for about a day. I bought it specifically to sell to my friend who wanted one back when they were very hard to find in stores. So this was my first one that was like mine, opening it up, playing it. I added all of the games. I modded it. It was very easy to do. I had a couple people ask me how to do it. I sent them the same video that you sent me. It was great. If you're thinking about doing that and adding games to yours, it's so easy. Like, don't be afraid.
You love the wrapper, love the settings, get the controller. It's such a simple little box you can take with you.
The thumbnails and
perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'll play it, to be honest with you, but I like having it just as like, that was my first console, probably my favorite, just having a lot of games on there to be able to like just boot up if I ever want to.
Well, you can back up, your ROMs of licensed games that are never going to make it to Nintendo Switch Online or no longer available on the Virtual Console. That's what I've been telling everybody to do with those things. Like, get your old favorite games, put them on there, and then put it in a drawer. You never
Preserve
know.
your library.
Yeah, at some point in life, you'll want to go back, and you'll have it.
And it just looks cool on my shelf,
It's true. It is very good looking.
So I'm glad that I did that. I think it was even a little bit cheaper refurbished, so I'm really happy. I have been playing more Earthbound. I think I'm getting close to the end of the game. It's like just still surprising me and being wacky and being like I don't even know like why I didn't play this a long time ago. It's still surprising me. I have gotten like, I think there's 8 total bosses that you have to go seek out and fight. I've done, I believe, 6 of them. I think I'm on the 7th one. So I have like 2 more to go, and then whatever the end game is for the final boss. But
how many hours are you into it?
I'm probably close to 30.
Yeah,
I've been playing most of it. I've been playing most of it on stream. I played a little bit off stream as well, like the grinding parts of it, and like a couple parts where I had to go through some caves. It's still like I'm finding different parts where it's still catching me off guard, where the game is just like very self-aware. Where
it's
Jerry said you didn't play it, right? And Donnie, I don't think you finished it.
I've never finished it.
There's like this cave that you go in, and it's just very self-aware. Like the signs are, I don't even know how to explain it without like going back and like reading all of the signs, but it's just like, it said something and it was like, that's what the sign upstairs says. And then you go upstairs and the sign said it. And it's just like very fourth wall breaking type things. Like it asks you, the person who's holding the controller right now, what's your name? Very fourth wall breaking.
I know that's why people like it. It's always like super witty in that regard. And it's one of the first,
dry humor in there.
Yeah, one of the first examples of like how writing could really like kind of transcend in the space. I don't think I've ever gotten halfway through. I don't know if I've ever played it more than 5 hours maybe.
It's longer than I thought it was. Like I always thought it was just the 4 main towns, the ones that we see like, I think even Smash has like 4-side and whatnot. I thought it just went up to that, but there's even more beyond that, which was just surprising to me. So I was glad that it went on a little bit more. But I think I'm approaching the end of that. I'm hoping I'll be able to beat that this weekend. I'll be streaming it. I'll share my thoughts on that.
What's the next JRPG?
What's that?
What's the next JRPG after this?
After that, okay, so I actually made a deal with somebody today that if they played A Link to the Past for the first time, I would play Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Ooh.
Nice.
Which I have owned since it came out, but have never
played.
So while everybody else is playing the Origami King, I might be playing The Thousand-Year Door for the first time.
That works. It's probably a better game.
People are saying like I'm starting with the best one and it's all downhill from there. So.
I think The Thousand-Year Door is one of the best Mario games I've ever played.
But if that's going to be the only Paper Mario game I play, it might as well be that one, right?
I am very much looking forward to playing Paper Mario tomorrow. I know like the cool thing is for everybody to tell you what it isn't and what it doesn't do. I'm not going to be turned on the fact that every time I look at the game, I think that is one of the prettiest Mario games I have ever seen. It looks pretty
and the battle looks interesting. I really like how the bosses look.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to seeing like,
and
even
like,
if I don't play it.
I want to do the little boat in the ocean. Do you see the one where he's like walking through like the grain, like the hay and everything? It's just like
and how it waves around in like a paper fashion. It looks really good.
It looks really good. I'm almost there. Visuals alone. I'm like, I totally want to play that for a little bit at least. So
it's reviewing well. Like I think people just hate on it because it's not like the original.
Because of what it's not, right? Yeah. If they did exactly that, they'd say, see. They just make the same game over and over again. They do something else. Well, it's not as good as the other one.
Bug Fables is, I think, what people are looking for.
Gotcha.
The other people. Still on the Animal Crossing grind. Today I spent 5 hours on stream looking for a particular villager to invite to my island.
The grind is real.
I went to over 100 different islands looking for villagers.
Wow.
Vanity.
It was a long day.
Why?
My girlfriend does it too. It's like
Insane.
I'm at the point in the game where I want the villagers that I'm going to keep forever.
okay.
So there were 2 in particular that I was looking for. I was looking for Wolfgang or Lolly. Wolfgang because he was in my New Leaf town and he was my favorite, and I really want to be reunited with Wolfgang. And Lolly the cat because she shares my birthday and she looks just like my old cat Tiger, who is a tabby cat. I didn't end up finding either of them on my 100 plus searches. I found a lot of really good ones. I found a lot of really bad ones. But what I ended up doing at the very end, some very nice friends gave me some Nook Mile tickets. I was going to keep going on more island tours, but I decided to find somebody who had Lolly the cat in boxes ready to be adopted. So I just paid that person 15 Nook Mile tickets, and I went and I adopted Lolly, and she will be moving in tomorrow.
Is that what we're calling
That's
it
so
now?
cool.
Adopted.
It is adopting.
It's not slave trading.
It's not slavery at all. It's not selling people
Not-
at all.
Sorry, village trading. They're deciding to go over there, Donnie. Okay,
Now she's going to be happy on my island.
or they're programmed to
It's
do
a
that.
win-win situation for everybody involved.
Did you see my tweets about ooblets?
I don't want to look at ooblets
I know.
because I don't want to get ooblets and be addicted to ooblets.
Ooblets is really fun, and
It looks
you're
so
saying that.
good.
I'm saying that from somebody who's not really into these types of games. I played it for all of 10 minutes, and I was like, I got to tell some people about this thing.
I don't need to be addicted to another game like that.
It's
It looks
so
good.
cute and it's so funny,
Yeah.
and you get to farm your little area, and you get to decorate your little shack, and get to do all the improvements and do all those things. It's like, oh boy, hashtag
trying to
Caro
avoid
Rebecca game.
I know. I'm trying to avoid it.
It's on the
I'll
Epic
get it
Store.
eventually.
It's
I
on the
know.
Epic Store. It's so good.
I know. That's all I've been playing for games. What I forgot to mention last week, it wasn't a game that I played, but I watched the movie King of Kong. Have you
Okay.
seen it? It was from
Yeah.
like 2007.
Mhm.
I finally watched that. I'm like 10 plus years late on that.
I haven't talked about it on any show, but to be honest with you, I have been absolutely crushing movies of late.
Really?
And a lot of it has been going back and watching favorite cult classic 90s films, 80s films. I'm amazed at how many old movies I'm buying. And it's because, for whatever reason, there is nothing new on Netflix or Hulu that is doing anything for me at all. Like, I can't take another family drama or another affair scandal show. I'm just like, I'm so over like the crime thing. And that seems to be like 95% of everything, like, kind of fits into those buckets. And I'm just like, I'll just watch Animal House again. Like, let's go find Animal House on Blu-ray. And I'm just doing that. I've watched the Wedding Singer and the Blues Brothers and Armageddon, and I'm just doing all of this stuff, and I keep doing it constantly. So I am right there with you.
Yeah.
We've watched
Well,
almost
this
a movie
was-
a day for like 2 weeks.
That's okay.
Wow.
That's good. Catching up on some stuff. This was actually on YouTube, so I didn't need to like pay anything for it. The whole movie
Wow,
is free on
nice.
YouTube for anybody who wants to watch it. I actually learned a lot from it. So like, I'm not into like really old arcadey type games. Like, this is about breaking the record for Donkey Kong, for anyone who doesn't know, like the
Oh,
original arcade Donkey Kong.
Yep.
Garrett, you would probably actually be
Yeah,
interested in
I
this.
remember this now. Yes.
Jason
Did you
loves
watch
this guy.
it?
What's his name? Billy
I
something?
haven't-
Billy
Yeah.
Mitchell.
He has some controversy behind him too. Like,
Well, and it was just relevant. I think it was just back in the news last month where his record, I think they said,
It's
is
actually
valid.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's actually valid. Yeah.
Well, I
heard
learned
that.
a lot from it. And like, even if you're not into getting high score record type, type things, I'm really interested in speedrun world records. And so a lot of it, I think, overlapped with that, with like trying to validate scores and things like that. So if you have any interest at all in retro games or high scores or world records of any sort, I would recommend watching that movie. I learned a lot. It's not long. It's like an hour and a half long.
Yeah. It's great. I was
Wish I
being
liked
that
Billy
sarcastic.
too,
Me and Jason make fun of Billy all the time, or we used to anyway.
That's
yeah,
okay.
it's a great,
Still,
it's a great
yeah.
documentary, especially with the
Yeah,
video
definitely.
gaming flair. You got to do indie game of the movie next.
Yeah, do that one. That's pretty
Okay.
good.
I will.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
All right, Garrett,
Cool.
bring us home.
I beat 2 games, guys, this past week. 2 games.
Xenoblade.
I beat Xenoblade.
Wow.
This past week.
Congratulations,
I even beat
man.
it on Saturday. It was really, really good.
All right, give us your score. Give us your final take on it.
My score on it, I would say a solid 8 out of 10. I say it's a great game. There's a lot of quality of life type of things that I see now in JRPGs or in other games that I was like, you could have made that a little bit better. I would say the navigation is probably a huge one. The item inventory system, that's a huge one as well. Gem crafting was a waste of time with me sometimes. And also relationship kind of bonding. They could have made that so much better too, because you had to meet a certain requirement to do these relationship type of events, kind of like Fire Emblem, but like your bond needs to be really close to one of your companions, and I never got there with any of them, and I just didn't bother with it. Other than that, I love the vastness of the open world. A lot of big open areas, and it's like, it's just astonishing what they could have done in the Wii version.
Not bad for a Wii game, huh?
Yeah. So props to them, man. And then the story. That story is fantastic. That's a JRPG story if I ever saw one. That's Persona 5 level, I think, in terms of like how you do character development, how you go through and pick off themes, like real world themes, I think, pretty well. And there was plot twists left and right throughout this entire game. I kind of predicted some, but some I just had no idea. And I'm like, that's so cool that you did that. It stretched out a little bit long, but that's what JRPGs do, right? Like they like to stretch out super long. And this one didn't stretch out like crazy long, but the ending of this game is probably one of the best JRPG endings I've seen in a game or in a JRPG for sure. There's a lot of endings with JRPGs. I'm like, oh my gosh, can I just get it done already? But this one, I was like, this is very, very cool how it ended and where everything ended up. I had to do casual mode at the end there because it was getting a little too much for me. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to grind or I'm going to have to do like 20 or 30 side quests in this area. It's like, nope, this is the end. This is like second to last chapter. I got to just push through. And I had a good mode of characters together. I had, gosh, I'm even forgetting their names now. But I had me, Fiora, and her brother. Yes, I forgot his name. Dunban. So I had those three. They were a powerful combination with Shulk. I was able to take down enemies left and right with those three. I didn't change much with my companions either. But you can definitely spice up the gameplay by choosing a different main character to control if you want to, which I think that's super cool as well. You can do the grind if you want with Shulk, but there's still a lot different types of action gameplay with the other characters as well. I am starting to play Future Connected. I think that one's very cute how it starts. You have I forgot that little guy's name. You know what I'm talking about. The little guy companion that walks around with you in the party. He's like, Hiropon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. His children is actually joining your party. Nene and Kino. It is so cute. With the High Intia princess. So you're all together in a party and you're trying to figure out going to a capital now in Bionis. And it's like completely a separate side story. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. I like the premise of it, how it starts. They have a new appearances, new cosmetics. It's Riki. Sorry, Caro.
Is Caro in the chat? I was just thinking. I wish Caro was here because I'm sure she'll tell it all about it.
Queen. Yes, you're correct.
Respect her. Respect the best girl.
Kara, I agree with you. But no, it's a really, really good JRPG, and if you ever feel like you got that itch, I think, Rebecca, you're getting there. You got those turn-based games going. I maybe try Xenoblade.
We're still talking about Xenoblade. I don't know. Maybe it's a big maybe.
Okay, well, that's the end of that discussion.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's definitely your type of game.
Yeah, and it took me about 65 hours.
That's long. That's so long. How do you play a game for
that long? It's not that long.
Yeah, it is.
Try Persona 5. That's like 120.
How do you play? Like, how do you
120 if you're going fast.
How do you commit to that? I'd be playing that for 2 years.
Yeah,
Sheer perseverance.
some people do.
The story really kept me going with this game.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
That's really the thing that really kept me going. So other than that, I played Time Spinner and I finished it. It's a very great Metroidvania.
Would this be better than Axiom Verge?
I have not played Axiom Verge.
Okay,
That's
neither have I.
Yeah, Axiom Verge is more akin to Super Metroid, I think.
Right.
This one's very more like Symphony of the Night.
Okay.
You got level ups that's in the same style. You have different sets. It's a completely different landscape though, and a style. It's like there's time traveling involved. You have 2 different maps going from past and present, and there's different obstacles you can do to clear one way in the past, and so in the present you can go into certain secret areas, which I thought was super neat. The characters are very well made, very well written, I think, and the villains. The motivation behind your main character is pretty cool. The gameplay of it is super tight. I like the combat with the orbs that's floating around you, and different types of orbs had different types of combat punches, or it could be a radius around your character, or you can shoot an arm way far, or you can do whatever you want with these orbs. And then you have this big mana special ability that you charge up, and you could set that to whatever you want. The bosses are not that hard, Donnie. They are not that hard. I was able to beat this game. I think there's 4 different endings to this game, which I thought it was interesting. I beat 3 out of the 4 pretty easily. And you can have items with you. You can level up, and you can level up so much that, you could be overpowered.
Just kind of walk through it.
Yeah.
I like that. That's kind of my type of game.
You get to the point where you can travel very fast too. Whereas in the beginning of the game, you kind of just walk around, you only have one jump. And then by the end, I was just flying across the map, flying straight up. So I can just get that 100% mapping all around. I thought that was very nice, very accessible. And if you want to be punishing yourself, you can do New Game Plus. You can play Nightmare Mode only. You can get all the achievements too, which one of them is really hard. I think it's a boss. You have to face a boss and defeat it basically without stopping time. That's the one gimmick I haven't explained, and I'm so sorry. That's and I keep forgetting this. The novelty behind this game is that you can stop time
right
for a limited amount of time, and you can jump over projectiles. You can use enemies as platforms.
So can you move time, or you can just pause it and rearrange your position?
You just pause it and then you move around.
Okay.
And that's a gauge too.
So it's not like Braid. You can't rewind it and then replay and rewind it and replay. Okay.
Yeah, you just pause it. It's great when you're in the heat of bosses where they'll about to attack, and then you can quickly, if you're quick enough, you can pause it and go to the other side of the map if you want to.
So that's what I need in Hollow Knight.
Yes, definitely.
Game is so hard.
Overall, really great game. I highly recommend, and I'm very tempted to get it on Vita just to platinum it because
that's saying a lot.
It's a good Metroidvania.
Nice.
That's all I have to say about that.
I've been thinking about playing Axiom Verge. I've never played it, and it's kind of on my radar. I know it went on sale a few months ago, and I was like, should I get it?
Has very Super Metroid vibes.
Yeah, very much. And then I still been playing Sushi Striker. It's every time I go to bed, if I have 10 minutes before I go to sleep, it's sure, I'll play a couple levels of Sushi Striker, and it's just super fun just to connect all the colored plates and throw empty plates at the enemy as you eat sushi, and the style is so funny. I'm still liking that game a lot, and it's not. I'm not putting extreme amount of time in. It's just whenever there's spare time. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Well, let's get into the news this week in Nintendo, and let's start off about that WayForward game, guys. It was not Silent Hill.
We didn't think it was going to be a Silent Hill.
Pretty much the opposite of Silent Hill.
Kind of, yeah. All right. So they announced last week, after an extended preview of Paper Mario the Origami King, Bakugan, Champions of Vestroia.
What the heck is that word?
An action RPG with unique battle system that blends real-time and turn-based elements. The game features the original storyline with over 100 quests to go on, 80 Bakugan to collect. As part of the story, you'll be taking part in a series of Bakugan tournaments while also investigating the abnormal earthquake activity happening around town. The internet rightly lost its...
They are so... I'm really glad that after they originally tweeted that, they followed up with it's going to be a third-party franchise, because I think if they didn't do that, the outrage would have been even bigger. Because
I honestly feel like maybe they should have
I know the fans do it themselves, but
they do.
they also set it up to make it sound like it was going to be exciting. Just saying.
I don't think so. I don't think saying, hey, we're going to show you a game tomorrow is setting you up to be overhyped. I don't think it's so funny how... When
has Bakugan ever been relevant in the past 10 years?
Again, that's not the point, right? The point isn't, they weren't like, guess what? Wait till you see what we have tomorrow. They literally just said, we have a game to show you tomorrow by WayForward. That's literally what they said. And people are like, you hyped this up. It's like, they announced they were showing a game. That's not hyping it up.
The viewership dropped by like 100,000.
Oh yeah, it did. And people, look, I got into a lot of arguments after this came out. So I've got feelings on both sides of this. I get it that people were disappointed. I'm not going to argue that they shouldn't be or whatnot. I just think that sometimes we collectively might go a little bit too far in our passion and stuff like that. And this was one of those examples. And I've done it. I'm pretty sure I've definitely done it. But this is one of those examples where I just thought people were just being a little too harsh.
I think it's worsened by the fact that everyone's just very hungry for something new.
That's
exactly what it is. Because everybody's, where's the next direct and what do you have after Paper Mario? No, that's 100% right. Which is why I don't want to come down and be like, you people are wrong for doing this. I'm not going to go that far. But at the same time, some of the rules and some of the things that we apply to these types of things, or the way we justify having these sort of reactions, are a little sketchy to me. Where they're like, we've had comments that were like, this isn't worthy of Treehouse. Have you seen Treehouse? Right there's been good Treehouse. Yeah. There's been bad Treehouse. Yeah. Like, are any of us three assuming that the Treehouse Live moniker is some sort of prestigious endowment?
I feel kind of bad for all the hate they were getting for it.
I do too, because while I understand that us podcasters and the 30-year-olds that are playing Animal Crossing and reliving their childhood and all that, I understand that we don't care about Bakugan at all. I'm included. I don't care about Bakugan at all. The moment they actually showcased it, I started laughing. The moment I was like, oh no, because I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Don't do this.
Jack is beyond thrilled for this game. Good. He has Bakugan. I don't even know what they are. To be honest with you, here's as much as I know about Bakugan. When his birthday or Christmas and he asks for them, I have to ask Melissa, what's that toy thing that Jack likes?
Yes.
It's Bakugan. I still don't even really know what it is. I know that, like Pokemon, he carries these little figures around with him, and they battle on the floor like this Marbles and Jacks thing, and he plays it with his best friend that lives across the street from us, and he has for 2 or 3 years. I literally brought him around while it was live, and I said, hey, take a look at this new game, and he saw it, and he cheered.
He flipped out.
Arm in the air, super excited, and I was just there thinking, I'm like, that sucks for him, right? Like, if he had a Twitter account, he's super excited for this, and everybody on Twitter is talking about how awful it is. Like, that's...
Well, I think the thing is maybe it didn't feel like the people who were watching it was the right audience for it, which makes me question why was it announced here?
I think that's a very fair assessment.
It's a weird thing to follow by with Paper Mario with the Treehouse too, to be quite honest with you. Like, it took us all in the left surprise. Like, we had no clue what it was.
Because we love Shantae, and WayForward has, good stuff behind them. And you think of WayForward, and we were thinking, Mega Man and Castlevania and things like that they do. But like I said, they've also done a ton of these IP type ports. So go look up their Wikipedia. They've done Scooby-Doo and SpongeBob and like they do a bunch of this stuff too.
Yeah.
So, like, and look, I get it. I've let it go. I'm trying not to be so harsh on it. I get that people maybe were expecting something else. I will listen to people saying, well, they shouldn't have done it in a stream. I don't understand why every 30-year-old video gamer is a marketing expert, but it's something that we all do. We love to talk about, well, that's a press release. This shouldn't have been in a stream. And, well, that's a tweet. And they should have done this. And, it's, of course, I mean, I think everybody does. We have these, and I'm not blaming the people for saying that, to be honest with you. That's not what I'm saying. I think we've been conditioned for those types of things. All we're doing is applying to what we've known to what we can expect, which makes sense. But just because of what we known, like just because they've never done something like this before with a game of its stature doesn't mean they can't. I mean, So I would argue on the other side of it, they got more eyes on Bakugan than they ever would have any other way. And in a marketing sense, mission accomplished. Now, the fans might be outraged and may never buy it. I don't know. Like there's some weight there. But I think there's a lot more people today that are aware that there's a Bakugan game coming than there was.
That's a good point, because someone like you, like there's probably a lot of other people like you who have kids who probably really enjoy Bakugan who wouldn't say, okay, I would buy this for me, but I will buy it for my kid or
I wouldn't have known about it.
Whoever.
If they just put it up on YouTube like they say, or that deserves to be in a press release, I wouldn't have seen it.
Especially now where I feel like we're not in an environment where you might be going to the store and looking at the shelves for like gifts or something for games. You wouldn't see that on the shelf because we're in 2020, we're not doing that.
Dude, people were super mad. They were big mad. They were big mad. They were very, very angry.
When I saw the title, I was like, oh, okay, Bakugan. I've heard of it. And I'm like, let me actually see the game. Let's see what it looks like.
It's Pokemon.
Kind of.
It's a Pokemon game.
I think it's like, isn't it more like Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
No. Oh my gosh. No, it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't know anything about it.
I'm sorry. You said Yu-Gi-Oh! I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. When you said Yu-Gi-Oh! I started thinking Yokai Watch.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a little bit like Yokai Watch.
It's like Yokai.
Okay. Yeah, I just confuse all of them.
I've never played a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game.
Me neither.
It just looked like every time that they were stopping, it was just doing that cutscene with the big Bakugans. And I'm like, what is the point of this game? But I didn't pay much attention after that, so I don't want to like say it's a bad game.
It didn't look great. I mean, it looks like a budget IP tie-in sort of game. Yeah. Because it was Pokemon-ish in design, Jack took to it. And by the way, when they started opening up all those menus and everything, I was shocked. He was like, he knew like the dude's double special move or whatever. He was like, oh my God, he can Ultimate Crusher. I was like, look at this.
That's amazing.
Like he's in.
It's for him.
I'm not putting it on. This isn't like me, putting it on for show. I'm serious. I was sitting right next to somebody who was loving it. And, so I just felt like I wanted to poke and prod a little at the folks that were angry about it. But I understand that people are starving for Nintendo news. And as I've been saying, show a little patience. It's coming. It's coming.
I don't understand. I just really don't understand how you could be angry. Now you could be disappointed and you can talk your voice about it.
That's what I don't understand. Why didn't people just turn it off? They didn't have to turn it off. They had to go at lengths to describe why it was awful. Like they were like, let us tell you, this is tone deaf. This is like they had to go big mad. They were big mad.
Can't just put an effort into it. I'm like,
you can't just turn it off. You got to have an opinion about it. And ultimately. It was an interesting day for me because that was a day where I was like, I should probably just quit Twitter. I should just get off of here.
I just ignore it. I'm just like, I see it. I'm like, nah, whatever. Okay.
Nah, it was fun.
The Paper Mario Treehouse.
Yeah.
That is the first one they've done online. Right? Let's talk about that a little bit.
You're right. We shouldn't just like glaze over that because it felt a little bit awkward to me.
It did. All awkward.
I think, but okay.
I couldn't tell if it was live or pre-recorded until like halfway through. I'm like, this definitely was not pre-recorded.
The issues that they were having.
Sure. So this is like all Treehouse Lives are like this.
I wouldn't say that.
It was different.
I know it was different because it wasn't an E3. I get that. But like, they're all kind of that, you have that weird moment where Audrey Drake is like waiting for them to tell her to go live. So she's just staring at the camera let's talk about this game we're going to play.
No, I know what Garrett's saying. I think it was honestly the technology issues. And like,
it was
I really do think like, and I get the point of Treehouse is to be live, but it probably would have been, and like, I wasn't watching it super closely because I'm not really getting Paper Mario, but I don't know why they wouldn't have just pre-recorded something like that.
There was at least 10 times in that live stream where one guy, both people were talking, and they had to stop, and then one was like, no, you go, and then no, I mean you, no, really, you go, and then they would explain it or part of the game, and it's like, all right, let's go back to you. It's like, oh, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that's exactly how the conversation went. And I'm like, I've never seen that in a Treehouse Live, and that didn't seem right to me at all. And it's like, I'm just glad to watch Paper Mario. I feel bad for them because it's not their fault.
It wasn't their fault
at all. Like, I'm sure they're great, like talking about the game and speaking about it. Like, it was just a matter of, I don't know what they were using.
Coordination, maybe they hadn't talked about it. And again, it's not pre-scripted, so you can't polish it up and you can't produce it.
The delay in the videos was insane too. Like they must have had some sort of software bug, or I don't know. I don't want to go on and on.
They did apologize about it beforehand, like saying that there might be issues. So it's to me, it almost felt like they knew there was going to be some kind of technology issues.
Maybe they're having an issue or something.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't, the end of the world, but I did pick up on that as well, Garrett.
Yeah, I want to give them a pass. Like this, like they're just trying this out. But I'm like, this is a professional. Probably I think they hire people to do this, right? To do this professionally. Nintendo does. So, I say that was not a professional job at all.
I mean, they've definitely done a lot, much better. I agree with you there. Like, it wasn't great showing by any means. Either content or anything else, but
they got the job done of showing Paper Mario.
Exactly. That's all that counts.
Yep. Speaking of Mario, Nintendo has officially partnered and has shown with Lego an NES set that will retail for $229. This is intended to allow adult fans to take a trip down memory lane, with the brick-built kit offers an NES controller, 1980-style television set that actually plays Super Mario Bros. There's a little diorama in there, and it goes and Mario moves along the little blocks and everything like that. What do you guys think?
Oh, it also connects with the Mario Lego set that they announced before. If you put it on the console, it makes the TV make sound.
Wow.
That's some good level of engineering with Legos.
Oh, no, I agree.
That's pretty smart. That's a price tag.
I was going to say, are you guys going to get it? It's a pretty nice piece of engineering, Garrett. You going to grab it?
Oh, of course. Where am I going to put it?
I'm not a Lego collector, and the original Nintendo doesn't really hold any nostalgia for me personally. But I was looking through their website after this got announced, and it's really not that unreasonably priced if you're comparing it with the other sets, considering that it's a licensed set, and it's 2,500 pieces. That's that's about 10 cents per brick, which you have to understand that they need to make money from this, plus the licensing with Nintendo. They have a lot of sets that are up to $500. So we're not, if you're not a Lego person, you're probably not who this is being marketed towards.
Apparently it's being marketed to Bobby. Bobby's in chat. He's saying he's absolutely going to get one. I don't know that he's a Lego person. That'd be new for me. I don't know. I don't think he's a Lego person.
I'm not saying it's only Lego people, but I'm just saying
I'm
not, the price doesn't surprise me for Lego collectors.
It's a great item to throw on the shelf. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it looks awesome. I love that the cartridge actually goes in and clicks. I'm like, wow, this is intricate, but that's the price of a Switch. That is literally the price of a Switch Lite.
But it's like a collector's item. I know. It's you're gonna put it together and it's gonna be on the shelf for you to display.
Look, man, that's why Jack is a Mega Bloks kid, and I ain't got $250 Lego money. I spend a lot of money on toys and dumb stuff, but I ain't doing it on Legos. I even have a line for myself. I'm like, look, absolutely.
It does look like. Lego has such high quality standards. So this is going to be worth the price. You're not going to have something that's missing pieces, or that's going to, the pieces are going to break or anything. No. For anyone who isn't aware, Lego is very, very, very high quality.
I've been to the Lego store in New York City, and it is impressive. And they have a Lego set for everything and all over the place. So I didn't see Lego sticker shock. I wasn't shocked by the price. I expected when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's going to be expensive. So I wasn't shocked by the price. Just personally, I'm not going to spend that on Legos.
Mm-mm.
Then you got to put together. I didn't even put together my own Labo. Just make the kids put the Labo together.
Do you think they'll do other consoles for? This was for the 35th anniversary. I think.
Is it? Are we celebrating a 35th anniversary this year?
Oh,
I don't know.
That's right.
Just saying.
It's interesting.
It makes me wonder if they would continue collaborating with them and do other console anniversary sets in the future.
Oh, give me a Game Boy Color.
If
awesome.
it sells super well, you would imagine that maybe if there's money to be made,
this is going to be hard to get.
Yeah, it's going to be sold out. It's going to be a collector's item.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and Nintendo has those devout collector's items in droves. Like Bobby, we'll just get there, and it's gonna. And by me, I'm not demeaning Bobby. It's gonna look amazing back there in his backdrop with the lights and everything. It's gonna look awesome. And
I've put together a $120 Millennium Falcon set piece back in the day. I think it was I was sixth grade, 7th grade. That was super fun. Build it once, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this again. I'll put this on the shelf.
And yeah, you don't
Legos now.
That's for.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, next story. Joker and Hero amiibo launched this September in Japan, October in North America. Pre-orders went live shortly after announcements. I bought both. Either of you guys still doing the amiibo?
Oh, pre-orders are up. I'm gonna for sure buy Joker if it's still available.
I feel like I say this all the time.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking it up.
Every time they release a new wave of amiibo, I swear to you, they get better. Like, they were getting better and better at this. Like, I thought the Bulbasaur and Squirtle set were great. Joker and Hero, those are fantastic looking amiibos. And I'm not even a Dragon Quest, diehard guy. And I was looking at it, I was like, that's a really good looking amiibo. I gotta get it. Yeah, they look fantastic. I do want to give Kyle some love. He says, where's the Zelda Legos at? Didn't they do the Link's Awakening thing? Remember they had that Zelda island Lego set on set at E3? I don't think it was Legos, but they had a little diorama of little Link's Awakening at E3 last year. They had the trees and everything.
I don't remember.
If they did that in a Lego set, you get $250 out of me. That I would have.
Or I think Hyrule Castle would get a lot.
That I
saw a Hogwarts Castle on their website, and that made me think of a Hyrule Castle.
Hey, chat, somebody find a picture of that and put the link in there so they can see it. I'm pretty sure I remember that's a thing. That was a thing. Because I remember somebody tried to buy it. Everybody kept taking pictures of it when they walked by. It was this big Lego little Awakening set, I think. It had
I wonder, somebody must have it.
Oh, it was great. I would definitely buy one of those. But I have more of an affinity to collect things for Zelda stuff than I would for, for sure. All right, let's have some fun, guys. Fans have discovered a Twitter account at Super Mario 35th that also appears to be registered to the Nintendo.co.Japan domain, but it is redacted. So it could not be, right? It could just be something that matches the exact case and the exact characters that these other things match. It's worth pointing out that Smash and Splatoon's email reverse lookup are similar. They have also just found a, what was the new one that was posted today? I didn't update the notes. F-Zero. They found an F-Zero one.
F-Zero
Gotcha. And so this rumor seems to be evident of Jeff Grubb's original leak, Rebecca, that Nintendo plans to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary this year with Mario remasters. I'm going to drag this out. We're going to talk about this every episode until launch.
Fine.
It's happening.
So
it's definitely, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Is it, or is this an Xbox situation where we do this with all of our franchises? We get accounts and we make them in 2020.
Nintendo is actually known to do that. I remember people getting very excited when they renew trademarks or come up with even new trademarks, and then nothing ever comes out of it. So Nintendo is technically known to do that, but I don't think that's the case here.
Mario 35th anniversary in 2020.
Yeah, it's
That's not registering a Twitter handle for Mario. That's just registering a Twitter handle specifically for Mario's 35th anniversary.
Yeah. The F-Zero one, though, is interesting.
Yeah.
Are you guys interested in the return of F-Zero?
I have never had any love for that franchise or the game at all.
Garrett, you're making me so happy. I have talked trash on F-Zero my entire Nintendo life, and I have only caught heat for it. Every Nintendo fan hates me for saying it. That's the one franchise. It's a lot of Nintendo fans hate Kirby. I love Kirby. A lot of Nintendo fans love F-Zero. I don't. This would be so... Go ahead.
I saw talk that it might be for mobile, like speculation.
I saw some people that were like laughing.
But I don't know.
I
don't really. Yeah, I saw some people laughing about it, but I saw some people actually like suggesting that it would be like a good mobile game. But I don't think they would do that to compete with Mario Kart Tour. It doesn't really seem to me like it would be like the mobile market type.
They
thing.
already said that the phone like campaign, they're pulling it back like so much. Like I doubt they're gonna.
But
maybe,
they're just not putting so many eggs in that basket. They're not as hopeful that it'll be the money juggernaut that I thought they originally intended it to be.
So I don't know. I've never played F-Zero.
I am open for another Nintendo racing franchise. If they're not going to make another kart, which they should, but if they're not going to do that, I'm okay with it. I would be distraught if it was F-Zero. When you could do Diddy Kong Racing, or you do the Star Fox Racing rumor that we had. They have better franchises, in my opinion, to pull from than F-Zero. Now, that said, I'm open-minded to anything, right? They could show us F-Zero tomorrow, and if I think it looks awesome, I'll be excited and I'll pre-order it anyway, and I'll probably buy it anyway just to play it, because that's what I do with Nintendo first-party games. But the franchise just doesn't do much for me. Outside of the Mute City theme, I could literally live without it.
I feel like it's unfair to say that, you know, that we would expect that it would be exactly what it was before, though, because it's been, 20 years?
Yep, it would have to be different.
Or whatever, at least.
Yep.
Maybe, is it more? I don't know.
More than that.
Since we got an F-Zero game, I feel like if that's something that they're going to reboot,
didn't they do one for like Game Boy?
I don't know.
I think they did one for Game Boy. It's been
that's how hard to catch on with this franchise. Like everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, F-Zero!" I'm like,
man, this is one of the ones where you see people saying revive all these old games, all these old franchises. This is always at the top of that list. F-Zero.
I like the music,
and I'm interested to see if it sells, because I'll expect all those people have been whining about it for so long.
I think they would make it more modern for people. For, I think, a wider audience to enjoy, which the people who are calling for the F-Zero revival might not like that.
So let me think about this a little open mind. I always try to, I don't want to just hate everything. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf there. So if they gave this to like the teams that did like Red Out or some of those cool like action racers, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Like there was Red Out and there's another one that's really popular. It was at the Switch launch.
Fast RMX or something?
Fast RMX Racing, exactly. Thank you. If you gave them the license to something like this and they made an F-Zero game, I'd definitely play it for sure, especially if it was, let's say, a budget release. Maybe it's $40 or something like that. I would definitely play it. I just don't have the love for the franchise. Like I'm not going to get excited about F-Zero. That's ultimately what I'm trying to say.
I'm the same way.
But like the Fast RMX, it's a really pretty game. It'd be cool to see them do something like that, and maybe if they give them a little bit more charm, I think it would be cool to give. Not that I don't want F-Zero to earn, stuff on its own, but if you could give them like some little Mario flair or something, like maybe some cosmetics or something to kind of Nintendo it up a little bit, that would be okay. I mean, I'm open to anything. I'm always open to having my mind change. I think something like that could work.
So I think of F-Zero, I think of everything that happens in Super Smash Brothers. So the style of that, and Captain Falcon, the character itself, he's such a funny character. I love the style of Captain Falcon. I've always had to face him because everyone loves to play that character in Super Smash Brothers, at least my friends. And so I just, every time I play him, he just makes me smile because of the amount of style he has. So, I mean, if they're making a new F-Zero game and has that style and has that groove going on with that character, I'll be down.
It still hurts to think that it's not Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong Racing is really, really good.
I feel like they wouldn't bring it back unless they like knew they were ready to do it right in a way that a lot of people would enjoy. So I would be interested in seeing what they could do with this.
Okay. So cautiously optimistic across the board.
I'm in the same way as you, Donnie. I don't know if I would immediately, like, I'm not going to rush out to immediately purchase this. I have no history.
Okay, so like a direct gets announced for next week. You're sitting there, you're waiting. You got the direct screen, right? It's 3, 2, 1. Captain Falcon pops up. Like, are you like, oh my God?
No, I'm like, wow, they're reviving F-Zero. A lot of people are going to be so happy about that.
Okay.
That's my reaction.
Let me see the game. That's what I would say.
Let me see what this is all about now that they're bringing it back.
Got it. Cool. Well, that does it. No, it doesn't do it for our news, because I just want to ask you, like, Rebecca, does Mario Remasters still think they're not coming?
Well, what do we say the talk is? They're doing the collection.
The collection. We get
not
64,
necessarily remastered.
Sunshine,
like,
Galaxy.
yeah.
They're all touched up. Not remade.
Not remade.
So there's a difference between a remaster and a remake. A remake is new engine, new assets, new everything. A remaster is we take what you had and we bring it up to modern standards. It still looks like what it used to look like, but it's better now. It's higher resolution. We've cleaned up the graphics. We've cleaned up the edges. Like, we've made the menus better. We've made the fonts better. It can play on a big screen now instead of, your little screen. It doesn't need sidebars. That's remaster. Remake is that thing you remember. We're going to make it look like you think you remember it in your head. We're going to redo the whole thing.
Final Fantasy VII level.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so this is, according to the reports I've seen, this is a remaster. So Mario 64 is going to look like polygonal Mario 64. Now it's going to look like that in 1080p sharpness. So it's going to look great, but it's still going to look like a 64 game. That's not going to change the style of the game.
I think they're going to change the texture packs at least. It can't be low polygonal.
They'll touch it up. They'll touch it up.
Yeah.
Just like they did Xenoblade. Right, it's a remaster. But
isn't there
a
Mario 64 costume in Mario Odyssey where like it doesn't look like it's straight out of the 64 game, but it's like you're describing where they touch it up, and it's still the polygonal, it's still like the retro look.
And you showed that picture, cleaner. And I would be all about that because I thought that was cool.
That's kind of what I'm imagining.
I hope so.
All three of these in a package for $60.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's always the part that I'm having a hard time with.
You think they're going to sell them for $60 a piece?
It just makes me wonder, like, if they can and they know they can get away with it, why wouldn't they?
Because they don't have anything else. Because their whole year is ports. So this is like their big win. This is like their big
So we're saying this and the 3D
Mario 3D World
remake
comes separately. It's a port.
Both of them this year?
Yep, with Pikmin.
It's a collection, and with Pikmin.
And
I think
Pokemon DLC. That's your fall. You get Pikmin.
That's your 3 Pokemon heavy hitters. Yeah,
3 Mario 3D World.
Plus I think it's setting with me like to be a little bit more believable, because when these rumors first started and we were talking about all of them like separate, all of them remastered, all of them, like that was the part that I had a hard time with believing that like 4 games would come out, within the same year.
Oh yeah, it's easy to be skeptical because you're like, why would you release all these Mario games at the same time?
Yeah. But like now, kind of seeing it like as a collection, but they're not remakes; they're just kind of like touched up ports.
You can watch Galaxy
That's more
now.
Believable.
Galaxy 1 and 2 got HD releases on Switch in China. You can watch them online. You can go to YouTube and see it. It looks great.
It is great. Yeah.
That still makes me wonder why they wouldn't do Galaxy 1 and 2 as a bundle.
I wish they
Galaxy
put
2 later.
like a $30 DLC or
they'll just do it later.
Or a $60
that makes sense,
game
actually.
I'm just saying, like, you're asking why wouldn't they? Because maybe they can only fit the first 3 on the cart. But here's the thing, like, what if they release it as DLC? It totally makes sense. They've released DLC for everything, right? Like almost every one of their games is DLC. So you release it for $20 DLC later. And you add it to your Super Mario collection. It's digital, save a little money. I could totally see that happening.
Maybe.
It's like a Master Chief collection, right? And
now, I would hope that they wouldn't, but yeah, you're right. It's like a Master Chief collection. I so badly want this to be called Mario All-Stars 2. You guys can't, I can't tell you how excited I am. I want the art to look like Mario All-Stars. I want the cover to look like Mario All-Stars. I want a collector's edition. I want a matching lunchbox. I want the whole 9. I want to do everything. I want the whole thing. I think it'd be amazing. I want a special amiibo.
I'm coming around to believing this. I would get the collection. I wouldn't get 3D World.
I'm excited if the 64 version should be the DS version, so that you play as Yoshi and play different stuff. Like that would be cool.
That's cool.
It'd be cool if they threw a little new Easter eggs in there and stuff like they did with like the Zelda remakes, right? Stickers and stuff like that. My excitement continues to build.
Getting excited. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I here's the thing, guys. I think after we go this full circle of congestion, it'll all come back around, and by the time this thing releases, I think everybody will be excited.
Do you think next week we'll be talking about this again, but we'll have seen it?
I don't believe those rumors. I just don't. And a lot of it is because in Jeff Grubb I trust. I've been saying that. And he said August. And I think that makes sense for August. I feel like July is a little quick turnaround, at least like right now. But that's just me speculating. There's no evidence of that. We've seen it plenty of times where they're like, hey, a Direct's tomorrow. But this is going to be a big Direct. Like our next Direct, I expect it will be a big one. It will have third parties involved. I would imagine that for that, they have to do a little legwork. So that's why I'm just kind of refraining my hype from Direct speculation right now. When we get to August, full steam ahead. We better have one coming soon, right? But now I'm like, I'll give you a couple weeks. I got to play Paper Mario.
We're coming up on a year since a Direct. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
COVID and everything and all that.
I know. I'm not saying like. I'm just saying it's weird.
Yeah. Well, I
will be getting probably the collection as well. And
they're going to do a cool collector's edition. I'm getting 3D World too.
I'm not going to get a collector's edition. I don't do collector's editions. About? I never do those.
But it's Mario.
You know me and Mario. Luca one. You know, it would be cool to do the All-Stars thing and then release All-Stars in Nintendo Switch Online.
They have a special Joy-Con. They got a little special Switch
Joy-Cons,
Lite. I'm telling you, man. It could be good. It's so funny because when we talked about the game, like at first, people are like, oh, it's just ports. And every time we talk about it again, I'm like, what if there's a collector's edition? And people are like, what if there's Joy-Cons? Like, what if there's a system? They're like, damn it, Donnie, okay.
I'll get them all. I'll spend $1,000 for this.
And I would expect them to do it. Like, if this is their big game, then go big. Like, then treat it like it's a big... If you treat it like it's a big game and not just ports, customers will treat it like it's a big deal and not just ports. That's what I've been saying the whole time. Like, the reason people are like, why are we celebrating the 35th? What are you going to do on the 47th and all that? The reason they're celebrating the 35th is to make it seem like a big deal. That's the only reason. It has nothing to do with it. Right. They just use it to be like, it's the 35th anniversary. Look at all this stuff we've done. Right. That's the only reason. But the All-Star set would be great. Like, I would love it to just look like Mario All-Stars and have like Mario 64, like the face, just like the menu. He's on the front of the cover. Oh, that'd be so good. But I like that tacky stuff. Be excited. Please be excited. I'm telling you, we get a Direct, and we get that, and Sports Story, and No More Heroes 3, and Apex, and all the Mario, and the Pikmin, and Bravely Default. What a great year.
Yeah.
I kind of do wish that some of this stuff didn't get leaked. Like the F-Zero thing, and like, I don't know. It's all getting leaked ahead of time now, and I like being surprised.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the only one that feels that way.
No, you're not. And the reason I'm trying to choose my words is I waffle on this quite a bit. There are moments where I've been caught off guard and surprised live on air, and it's made for some great reaction videos. And I get that it's fun to be reacting. It's fun to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. We got to talk about it right now. I get that. When you follow the medium and the industry as much and as close as we do, you gotta let that go a little bit. You're not going to have that anymore. If you want to be that surprised, then go away. Like, get off of Twitter and quit following everybody.
I don't have like the F-Zero excitement, but like if it was shown in a Direct next week, now I would just be like, oh, yep, there it is. Whereas
F-Zero.
If that hadn't leaked, I would have been like, oh my God, they're actually doing it. Like,
I still would have been like, that's F-Zero.
I mean,
but I get what you're saying.
They kind of surprised us with Paper Mario.
And they surprised us with Metroid.
Yeah.
They still find a way to do it, but it's hard. Right. You got to realize in 2020, with the digital landscape, it is hard to do that. And I'm not saying that you do this, Rebecca. I am saying that when I see these conversations happen, a lot of times I get the sense from people that they feel like they should be owed the surprise, or like it was better when they're surprised. It's like these companies should try harder, instead of leaking everything and all that. I get a lot of that at times.
They don't want it leaked.
Well, sometimes they do.
Oh,
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they want things to leak so they can kind of judge how it's going to go. Yeah. But yes, I agree with you. It's fun to be surprised. But at the end of the day, like the surprise has nothing to do with how good the game is or not.
That's true.
And I think that's probably a better way of putting it. It's like, we got to let that go. It's fun to be surprised, but just because you're surprised doesn't mean the game will be good or bad at all. Like, you still want the game to be good. That's most important.
I think that goes back to like the atmosphere of E3, where there's just so much information right in front of you. There's so much new information and presentations of games that you'll see. And it's like, oh my gosh, that looks so awesome. But when the game is actually released and it's there, and it's like, oh yeah, that was showed at E3.
Now you're getting.
I probably won't get there.
Now you're getting in the Devolver territory.
I was just gonna, yeah.
You just want to eat the hype. The game is chores.
Yeah.
They're just things in the way. We just want announcements. Just give us the next announcement. God, I love that show. That show is so good. By the way, Shaq folks, Carrion Switch, the 23rd, comes out next week.
It looks pretty good, and that's not even my type of game, and I think it looks cool.
It just sucks for Nintendo that it's on Game Pass. It's just Game Pass,
right?
Man. They get every one of them.
Slaughtering.
Yeah, they're just like there's like an overlap in my spending habits. It's like Xbox spending, Nintendo spending, and then there's the overlap where they fit. Game Pass is eating that overlap up. Yes. They're like, we're not going to let Donnie spend any money on Switch. All the games he wants on Switch, put them in Game Pass. And
that's what's happening to me.
It's working.
For sure.
It's absolutely working.
I wish Nintendo would do something like that.
How great would it be if they turned Nintendo Switch Online? They're like, hey, Nintendo Switch Online folks, guess what? We're going to give you Hollow Knight.
That's what I thought. Like it
Game
was
Pass.
After they started doing Tetris 99, I thought we were going to get more stuff like that, and we aren't.
I never wanted to go as far as saying that we get it every month, and I think that's what they're scared of. If they do it, then it'll be expected that you do every month or every other month or 2 a month, right? Because that's what the other people do. Mm-hmm. But I would love for them to do twice a year. Like everybody can now play Golf Story. Everybody can now play Hollow Knight. Yeah. Everybody can now play Minecraft Dungeons or something. Like you just make a partnership and give a game away, even if it's an old game. It'd be cool. I would love for everybody to be able to play Golf Story.
It would give more value to the service, I believe.
It definitely would. That's for sure. Even if it was DLC. It gives people an incentive to buy something. Hey, if you buy Minecraft Dungeons this month, we're giving the DLC away for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Not bad.
At the same time,
attention, right?
Don't want to ask for too much. It's $20.
Yeah.
We get $20 a year. And for us, well, you guys aren't on my family plan, but for my family plan and half the PSVG team that's on it, it's not even $20 a year. We're getting out of like $4 and a quarter.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cheap. Now, if they ever wanted to raise the price, then they would have to do a bit more, I think.
Yes.
I wouldn't pay $30 a year for Nintendo Switch Online as it currently is.
think they're hitting the bare minimum.
Yeah,
the
kinda.
Absolute bare
They're giving
minimum.
you just enough not to cancel.
Yes.
You're like,
they're like, okay,
right.
I'll throw it in so I can play Splatoon 2 for like 2 hours that 1 year.
It's so cheap. Yeah. You're like, I might as well just keep it. You know, like I can play Super Mario World Tecmo Bowl, I guess. Donkey Kong Country.
There we go. Now that's worth $20 a year.
Rebecca, let's get into some questions.
John Z would like to know, you probably have lots of favorite music from several series, but which one do you enjoy the most?
Zelda. That's an easy one for me. I have all the Zelda orchestras. I've went to the Zelda orchestra. I've been there in person and watched it. So pretty easy for me.
Yeah, fantastic music. I don't know. This is the first thing that got in my head. Hotline Miami. It's a very solid soundtrack. I always listened to it back in the day when I was like studying for tests or working overnight. That's the soundtrack I go to because I feel like I can be in focus doing other things. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
If we're only talking like Nintendo specifically, I would definitely agree Zelda. I think consistently the music is amazing throughout every single game. If we're talking about any game that appears on Nintendo systems, it's a tie for me between Chrono Trigger and Undertale.
And I think if you do Nintendo franchises, Donkey Kong Countries, those soundtracks are really good.
Including the one we were listening to.
Those voices, no. I can't believe you showed that to me, Doc.
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
Nightmarish.
It would be like outside of Nintendo stuff. I'd probably with The Last of Us. Actually, it's one of the things I was thinking about. I haven't said it on a podcast. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to talk about Last of Us 2 on a podcast. Last of Us 2's soundtrack didn't do as much for me as the first one. It's much more atmospheric. It's like,
yeah.
Not that I want to compare anything to Breath of the Wild, but in the same vein that Breath of the Wild's like soundtrack isn't like a Zelda soundtrack. It's atmospheric and stuff. Last of Us 2's is kind of that way too. It doesn't have as much like musical tracks, just kind of like sounds and stuff that they play throughout the game. It's got some, but not as many. Whereas the first one, I almost love that soundtrack so much. So many of those songs I still listen to.
I'm not really closely related to Final Fantasy because I haven't played much of those games. But when I heard the remake of Final Fantasy VII theme, like I haven't played that game at all, like much at all. But that gave me goosebumps. And that one was So good.
And in similarity to you, I don't play Destiny. Destiny has a fantastic soundtrack. If you just want to listen to some great like background music while you work or something, throw Destiny up on Spotify and give it a listen. It is orchestral goodness. It is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Go all over the place.
Soundscape would like to know, have you guys ever had an N64 kid moment in your life, referring to that famous video of the kid who gets the Nintendo 64 for Christmas and starts screaming, yes!
Rebecca, would you like to start?
Yeah, I have one that is just like that, where I guess it was Christmas 2001. I should have looked this up. Picture for anyone who was watching, where I got the GameCube for Christmas that year, along with Wind Waker and the Zelda Collector's Edition. And me being the biggest Zelda fan in the world, that was like the greatest thing ever, because it was not only the new Zelda, but then the collection, which like I could play all the old ones and like some of the ones that I had never gotten to play before, like Zelda 1 and 2. So that was like this is the best Christmas ever type gift. And I'll never forget that.
I never had a gift like that where I unwrapped it and did that. I never had that moment. I've had moments where I had like extended moments of bliss after doing something. And to pick one, it would be, I've told the story of Shaq before, so I won't tell the long story, but shortly after I moved into our current house, I went and just started like raiding like local flea markets and stuff. And I found a GameCube collection of the Zelda games, the Metroid games, the Star Fox games, the Resident Evil games, the collector's editions of those games, the steelbooks, the cases that were all wrapped. And I bought them for $5 a piece.
What?
I walked out of there. I spent like $65 and I walked out of there with like 25 games, and I ended up selling them all on eBay for like $500.
Really?
Oh, I absolutely did.
I would have kept them. Oh my gosh.
I tried to keep them. I actually opened half of them, and I remember Jace, he was losing his mind. He was like, "Don't open."
No.
And I went to a local store because I didn't have a GameCube and I needed a GameCube, and I was telling the kids, I was like, "You're gonna love these games. I've loved all these games." And I took one. I had 2 Zelda promotional discs that were sealed. So I told the guy that owned the store, I said, "I'll give you one for 2 GameCubes," and he ended up giving me like a bunch of stuff, and the kids got stuffed animals and everything. So I came back with the systems. I plugged it up, put in Star Fox Adventures. The kids were just, they were not having it. They were like, "What is this?"
Oh my gosh.
They hated it. They thought it was so awful. And I tried to get them to play to like Tony Hawk, and I had NCAA football, and like it looks so bad compared to everything they've ever known. They were like, "Dad, we're not playing this." And I was like, well, okay. So then I kept it and I played it for like a month. And then after a month, I stopped playing it like we do with retro stuff. And I just listed the whole collection on eBay. I got like $550 for it. But the day I brought it home, I felt like that. I was like, I just wanted to show and tell everybody that knew what I had found. Like I don't necessarily think you could find stuff like that anymore. Like it was a 1 in a million chance.
And it's real.
Oh, it's totally, yeah, it was all real.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then. Cool. I actually had to think about this one because, honestly, like you, Donnie, I'm not too sure if I ever opened a gift.
You ever had Jack's Bakugan moment?
No, I didn't have Jack's Bakugan moment. I had a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh moments, but not Bakugan. Yeah, so I think the one memory that goes down to is actually in 2000. This is 2005. That's when the Xbox 360 was launching. It was that year, that winter holiday. And I remember asking for like a regular Xbox for Christmas. And I was like, I know the 360s, like, they're getting sold out everywhere. Like, it's like, I know I'm not going to get that. Dad, Mom, just I would like a regular Xbox to play games. I want to play the Crash Tag Team Racing or whatever. My dad woke me up 4 a.m. I think it was like the day before Christmas Eve.
Oh no.
And my dad's like, "Hey Garrett, so I talked to a Best Buy guy yesterday. They're bringing in shipments in of the Xbox 360 this morning. And we're going to go over there and we're going to get a voucher for this." Now it was super top secret stuff because what?
Camp out for it?
We didn't camp out. It was early that morning. So we woke up like, really early to head over there that day to get a voucher. So yeah, basically we were over there, and then there was a couple of I know there were teenagers that were there since 2 a.m, but that's it. We were number 4 in line, and I think there was a total of maybe 15 to 20 Xbox 360 consoles that were going to be out, and we camped out there out in the freezing cold for 4 hours. And 8 a.m, that's when they gave us the voucher. And so we were number 4, and there was local buildings, so we grabbed Krispy Kreme donuts and Starbucks coffee and everything. It was just a wonderful memory, just grabbing that console. We got Quake. I think it was Quake 4 or something like that. And Call of Duty 2. And I remember Hexix HD. That was an original arcade game. Yep. Mm-hmm. The Blades. I remember opening up, and it was a Blades UI. That was my main console. From then on, I was I am now an Xbox guy. And when I came back to my house, I was like, Garrett, I got something to show you that we're going to return. Why don't you open those Christmas gifts over there? And it was the regular Xbox. He's like, yeah, return that. I'm good. we're just gonna
trash you're trying to pass off, Dad.
Exactly. And you know what? They had a little bit of backwards compatibility, so I kept the Crash Tag Team Racing.
Sure.
Or it's not Tag Team Racing. It was something like that, though.
That's great.
But yeah, that was a great memory of mine.
I tried to give my kids one of those when we got our NES Classics. You guys remember how super hard those were to find?
Yeah.
I got the alert on my phone that the Amazon prize truck or something was in Atlanta. And you get this little text notification. They have a limited... You don't know what I'm talking about? Amazon had this program, I think they still do it, where they do these trucks with these random giveaways.
Yeah.
And they put these trucks out in major cities. And if you subscribe to alerts, you'll just get an alert be we've got this thing here at this price. Yeah. As soon as you get here, first come, first serve.
Never heard of that.
So Amazon did it, and at this time they were moving around, and it was this was the first thing that they used with the service on. So at the time it was super low key. People on Twitter were texting each other pictures and stuff. I saw the truck, it's over here. So I grabbed the kids. We were supposed to go to the lake or something. I was absolutely not. Get in the car. And we drove into the city to find it, and we had to pay for parking. We had to run across the street and everything. But when we found the Amazon prize truck, they had this whole Mario thing rollout set up with putt-putt and a little Mario guy in a costume. Wow. You could take your pictures in the cutout thing, and you could get the thing. We got them for $50. It was there was no limit. We bought 3 of them. Some dude bought 18 of them. There was definitely scalpers there. But so when I was telling you earlier that I had hacked my consoles, I bought one for me. I hacked it, and then when I saw how easy and cool it was to hack, I hacked the other ones and gave them as presents. So I gave it to my brother and sister-in-law's kids and stuff like that, and just packed full of games.
Love it.
Yep.
Nice.
Any more, or do you want to?
I don't know.
90 minutes. It's a long show.
I mean, yeah.
Already, jeez.
We have quite a few more questions, but we can either do more and save them for next week.
We'll save them for next week. So that's going to do it for us this week, Koopalings. Thanks for hanging out. Chat, you were lovely tonight. Very much enjoyed trying to follow along with you. Hope to see you next week. But that'll do it for us this week. Good night, Koopalings.
Bye-bye.